Asia, so little project, 7,000 square feet of line.
Hey, Christopher. Hey, John.
Other fabricator. So, 35 square feet. So I am working on it. But these jobs are from, yes.
I found very
So,
That's my birthday week. I'm gonna see all the information. Looking for all I need.
I didn't know.
Just gotta watch.
Oh no. I'm sorry, man.
No.
We've got a project just get started on. They're just a networking workforce, so sorry about you. Yeah, absolutely. You want me to just come out the back door?
I like it to be. Take you there.
He has been. So I talked to Tom yesterday briefly, and I found out I didn't realize he was already in Hollywood. You can tell him stories of blues. Jeremy, Jason. Yeah.
They're down, like, so I guess we'll get together, you know.
Oh, yeah, so I gave him some feedback, and I got the email again, it's been early morning meetings today, but we're gonna talk.
Well, I was at what kind of meeting? Yeah, it's,
I'll show you.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't really crunched the number.
Sure.
And that's what I.
Yeah, I essentially, I told is I'm worried about profitability.
So that's over there.
As an investor, from an investor's perspective, seeing enough room there.
Oh, so like, you know, I had to look at it.
Yeah, so, there's ways to present the document beautifully, and all that. Actually, and speak to investors, but profitability is really concerning. Just so I want to find more ways to expand just design.
Is there a city culture like George from Jimmy John's?
Like in his products, sourcing. I want to see what's the line of
Your computer's here. Sorry about our late stop. Unfortunately, the Utah Highway Patrol did not like our presenters.
Nice.
But if you engage, I think you're going to be able to get some useful.
83 and 70 is not cool. Fast and Furious.
And then there are real estate developers and title companies.
It's just great to see. I think I should actually.
Please make a seat check up forward if you'd like.
I missed that too.
John, Mr. Bikes. Could you give me a little guidance?
Yeah.
Simply going to do.
It makes sense. A lot of it's just common sense.
Testing, testing, testing.
Oh, that's also cool.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
You should say it back. My voice is very English.
Yeah, I know, dude. You're like,
All right, welcome to Open Circle, which is actually starting at about the same time as it usually does. But it was a little bit more earnest because our wonderful Encore presenter here, I did not know was having issues with the Utah's finest. Those of you that have,
man, keep it down.
I think you look like a new face for the circle. Have you been here before?
Don't think I've been to this one.
At some of our other events?
I think so.
Okay, beautiful. So we've been doing a lunch series since about April. It has all sorts of different business topics. Generally, it's very conversational. We've actually got a few presenters here and a few people that have approached us about doing it. Jason's been with us as well. This will be participatory. This is going to be fun today because Jeff's got a very long storied history in entertainment and also in social media. And I think he's going to give us a little bit of a lowdown. And as he is a bona fide musician, from a standpoint of participation, your participation will give you the opportunity to have Insatiable's finest. So if you're a ska fan, I know that's going to be coming too. And with that, Jeff, let's go ahead and get you, you want me to put this stuff out too?
You know what, we just go Wi-Fi feed and then we'll do it.
Desktop.
Yes.
Just go desktop.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And that's good. Got a few people here that were there on Tuesday night. That was a lot of fun.
That was
Some great follow-up. Our event in October on the third Tuesday will either be David Bradford, if you guys ever seen him, he was he's been behind a number of very successful companies, Novell, Fusion.io, HireView, and he's got a crazy talk that I've probably seen 4 times. It's exactly the same talk, and it's almost fantastic. But he's probably one of the master networkers in business. He's the guy that brought Steve Wozniak to Utah. So that's what we're shooting for October. If that doesn't happen, some of the things that we talked about with Salt Lake Steam will be going on as well. We have a coffee meeting that's on the first Thursday of each month at Capaneo's. So if you want to join us for that, and our bar crawl, which is 2 Fridays for this Friday, is actually going to be at a fun location that we've been before. We're going to the Sugar House Pub from 5:30 to 7. We're going to actually do a bar crawl because we're then going to finish with dinner over at Fiddler's Elbow. So visit us on slcircle.com. If you could remember these simple words, j.mp, which I would like to say is for Joel Meister Post, but it's actually just a bit.ly thing, /open-circle-survey. At the end of this, if you could give us a little bit of feedback, I might greatly appreciate it. So that's j.mp/open-circle-survey. With that, are you ready to go, sir? Got your microphones good?
It's as good as it's gonna get, dude.
Awesome. It's kind of like a movie with like Jack Nicholson.
Oh, boy. How's everybody doing?
Great.
Awesome. All right. Does anybody know what 15 over costs these days?
It'll be about $125. They're doing a lot of fun.
I haven't had a ticket since I was 18. It's crazy.
Go through the classes, it'll be cheaper.
All right, well, let me tell you a little bit of why I got a ticket. Unfortunately for me, some of my best work happens at 4 in the morning. I'm one of those people that your brain wakes up and it goes like 1,000,000 miles an hour, and some of the best ideas. So at 4 in the morning, I'm thinking about stuff, and then I fell asleep for a little while, and I woke up again at 7, and I threw out my entire presentation. I mean, there'll be similar slides that I've had in the past, but the entire idea that I had just went out the window. And one of those reasons is Joel helped me title this presentation an encore. And being a musician and playing a few encores, I appreciated that he called it the encore rather than the rerun. Because, you know, when a band comes out for the encore, they play some of their best hits, right? So that's what I'm hoping for. Man, I hope for. So anyway, once again, welcome. Jeff Evans, I have a little startup, extreme startup called Social Media Connect. And I brought my own wireless mic because it's handheld, because I like doing this. Eat the mic, I can do that. So anyway, this is a very social show, so hashtag SL Circle the whole time. And you know what, my daughter usually takes pictures of me so I can put it on my website. So I don't have that today, so please take pictures.
Do any of you have cameras?
Yeah, I think everybody does. Okay. So anyway, we're talking about social media for business, but again, like I said, I threw out my entire presentation. And I mean, you can go online and you can Google just a shitload of people doing social media for business. And what's gonna make us different or make me different today? So that was my whole thing. And I'm sorry, I won't throw out the F-bomb today, but then you know. So here's my rules for our lunch and learn today. They're pretty basic. All phones on. Not on airplane mode. I don't care. You know. Ringtone set to approved music. That means you know what? The last time I did these rules, I told Joel no Justin Bieber coming up on his ringtone. But you know what? That little sucker has a good song out right now. It pisses me. Okay, so this is a selfie cool zone. So do it. Take selfies. We'd like turn around so I can shot from backward. Okay, and then get the word out. Tweet, Facebook, Instagram, hashtag SLC Circle, and then most of all, this one right here. Feel free to interrupt and ask lots of questions. So some of the pertinent ones, my hashtag or my Twitter, Instagram, all of it is under Jeff Goes Social. Then Salt Lake Circle is at Do Biz Better. And just to get reach, we're gonna go real Donald Trump. Come on, that's confident.
That's fun.
I like that.
Okay. All right, so why social media? Okay, so I'm gonna get some of these boring slides out of the way right up front. Low cost, large potential audience, targeted audience relevant to you. You can stay connected and show off. And that's a big one at the bottom, show off. Okay, so a few stats and why not. Over 70% of US online adults, blah, blah, blah. 47 of Americans say Facebook is their #1 influencer in purchases. 70% of marketers have successfully gained new customers via social networks. And why is that? Why do you think that is? Anyway.
It's convenient.
Maybe, but who do you trust more than Paige What's-Her-Bucket, who's selling RC oil? Who do you trust more
Your
than her?
friends, your network of people who you trust are recommendations.
Boom. Exactly. We're friends. Because, you know, your best friend or even a friend you don't even know, or your casual friends on Facebook, if they say that that is the bomb, you're all over it, right?
Because they're a professional.
Yeah, well, they don't know anything,
Yeah.
but you don't know anything either, and that's the beauty of it, right? That's the beauty of it. Okay, so prove it. If you could see this graphic, it just shows the level of engagement and usage on social media networks from 2010 and projected to 2017. So 2.11 billion people within the next year. And I'll get to another slide, but all of my clients or potential clients said, you know what, man? I tried that a few years ago and it just didn't work for me. Well, that's a few years ago. This is now. So almost doubled, right? Right, so there's that. Okay, so this is my favorite graphic. This is the one that I'll pause for everybody to tweet. So trying to do business today without social media is like trying to do business with the phone disconnected from the wall. There is, the last slide, potentially 2 whatever billion people that have this connected to this, right? If I didn't get pulled over today, I was going to go and buy a hard copy of the Salt Lake Tribune. When I worked in the automotive industry, they always spent like a buttload of money on a full color page ad 2 days a week in the Salt Lake Tribune. And I'd go in the weekly sales meeting, and it was packed. It was Ken Garf's flagship dealership, and I'd say, I'd pull out the ad, which I actually had to pull over. But I love the newspaper. I love the smell of it, pulling it out and stuff like that. But, you know, is what it is. I also like 8-track tapes, too, you know, when I was a kid. But I would say, how many, and this is the salespeople and the executive staff, how many of you guys picked up the Tribune today or got it delivered to you? And this is like a couple of years ago. 0. So let me do that. How many people had the Tribune delivered or the Desert News today? How many just picked one? How many checked your phone to get your information? Yeah, there you go. Exactly. So it's about marketing is cool, but marketing in 2015 is cooler. And I have zero idea what 2017 is going to look like, or even 6 months. And that's what is like way intriguing about this whole thing. That's why there's no college degrees in doing this. It's because if you got one today, it would be over with tomorrow. So anyway, what I was getting down to is the point is marketing is fun. And it turns me on like you have no idea. I mean, it's like, it's down here compared to some things, but it's still pretty high in the world as far as things that turn me on. But the difference between then and now is what I'd say is market yourself and your business for today. But there's no problem with marketing yourself for today, but use yesterday's ideas. So when I say that, yesterday's ideas. Okay, so today, this is another one of potential clients. Today, the day of, oh, my niece does our social media for our business, those days are over, right? The days of, oh yeah, we tried that 5 years ago, those days are over too. Well, maybe they're not for you, but if you want to have sales, they are. So for those, let me get a little bit of a background. Who is using social media for business right now? Okay, specifically for sales. Okay, all right, and who is on more than one platform? Okay, Facebook, I would imagine, is number one. How about Instagram? Twitter? Pinterest?
I have accounts.
Pinterest, very nice. You're a ladies' man.
I try. I don't know.
Okay, so for those of you that are here just for a few starting tips, we'll just get through this fast. Stay consistent through your social channels. Make sure your logo is visible, but not only visible, but especially those of you that are on multiple platforms, make sure your brand looks consistent through all platforms. So your profile picture for your business and maybe your cover photos look the same throughout. So if people are Googling you or just actually trip over you on another platform, they're like, oh yeah, I recognize that. Recognizing that is huge. So consistency through all platforms, which also means consistency on your landing page, your meeting website, so it all looks the same. Did you have a question?
I noticed you didn't use the L word. Are you big on LinkedIn or?
Oh, yeah, well,
Okay.
so we'll get on LinkedIn. I mean, that's personal branding, and that's also huge in the B2B side. But yeah, with LinkedIn, again, any platform, as long as it looks consistent as far as your brand you're trying to do. And then you also have to realize that every platform will have different sizing and such for the graphics. So you'll have to work on that. And there's great tools for that. You don't have to be a graphic designer to figure that out. Just consistency. Okay, so unique and informative about section. Make sure your contact information is accurate and easily accessible. And not only accurate, but accurate exactly the same on all of your platforms. And then link to your other networks, website, and any other digital assets you have. Tips for growing. So if you're starting out from, social media is still pretty much a grassroots thing. So if you're starting where you want to grow, I mean, you got to reach out to your peeps or your employees. If you have employees and they don't even know that you got a Facebook page, I mean that has to be like, we have a Facebook page, you guys like it, and spread the word. Email this. Then again, walk, don't run. I mean, you're not going to throw the touchdown pass on this thing right away. It takes time, which is cool. And set a time to work and then reasonable and achievable goals. Don't get frustrated. Don't like, screw this, you know? You just make it, just plan it. Just make it, do it once a week. I mean, you set aside time to shower every day, to brush your teeth every day, to go to dinner. Just make those similar timelines to do your social. It doesn't have to be like, holy crap, I have to do this for 3 or 4 hours every day. You just do it. Okay, so let me get into my story a little bit. And I'm going to call this before Facebook and after Facebook. That's my time. Okay? So the title of today's presentation is building a community, right, around your brand. From anywhere. We'll get to anywhere later. But so before Facebook, this is a picture of my dad. My dad put together a family business in Murray City, family furniture store, for 40 years. We managed to sell over $3 million worth of product by word of mouth every year. We also own the fast food drive. So my dad, and God bless him, he's been gone for 3 years now, just last week. He taught me the fundamentals of community. We had multi-generations of families, so the grandparents, the kids, and the other kids come in to our store because they had a great experience, because they could hear our stories. And I mean, we always said, like, again, the R.C. Willey thing. We always said that it was the evil empire, the Death Star, the furniture store. People were refreshed to come into our store because first of all, you got to talk to the head people. You got to go right to the top, and then you didn't get attacked like wolves, like you do in other stores, right? So you can apply that thing. So when I worked for the store, and as my dad got towards retirement, I took the role of the face of the community. So during that period of time, I ran for Murray City Council twice. I got stomped in the ground first time, and the second time it was a respectable loss. I made it past the primary. And then after that, I spent 9 years as a Murray City Planning and Zoning Commissioner. My music career was pretty much at its height as well. I worked 6 days a week at the store. When we did that in a family business, she did everything. Marketing, deliveries, everything, all the way up and down. And like I said, we owned a fast food drive-in, so when the cook didn't show up, I was the best dressed hamburger flipper in the world. can tell you that much. So what I'm getting at, and I was also president of Murray City's Rotary Club, and then also on the board of directors of Murray City's Chamber of Commerce. So everything that I say is Murray City. And that's because my dad was staunch in having that sense of community, having your face in the community. And you can actually achieve that type of thing within social media. Facebook right now is one of the best as far as targeted advertising platforms available, period. So if you go with the average numbers, the last ones that I looked up, 80% of the US population has a Facebook account, right? 80. And then of that, 50% use it, look at it every day. Okay, so, and then with the targeting that's available with Facebook, and then some of the other platforms are catching up. So say you apply that to our family furniture store, which was on 53rd South, just east of State Street. Now there's a 7-story Marriott there. Thanks, Dad. Anyway, any mom and pop business that's right there in any town. So Murray City, and take away being in the middle of the Salt Lake Valley, which has a population of over 1 million people now. But Murray City has a population of 45,000. So you take that number, and Murray City, from where our store was, is pretty much a 4-mile circle from there. So 45,000 people. So, and I was always in band, so I wasn't that great at math. So I'm just going to round it down. So say 80% of that, we'll call it 30,000. 30,000 people have Facebook accounts. And of those 30,000 people, 15,000 of them look at it every day. So basically the bottom line is you have 15,000 people within 4 miles of your brick and mortar mom and pop front door looking. Where else are you going to get that? I mean, where? Never, anywhere. So the targeting, and then you can even drill down the targeting even more than that as far as age, do they own a home, and then interests too. I mean, you can even target your competitors' Facebook pages and use that to bring people in to yours or show on the newsfeed. So anyway, when I'm rambling on a bit, and again, this is the first time I've actually done this type of presentation because I just thought of it for about 41, is my father gave me a great sense of community, which can be translated into social media. And I'll get further into how we can implement that a little bit later on. But anyway, thanks, Dad. Okay, so continuing on with, what did I call it? BFD, before Facebook. This is a picture of me on stage at the Neville's Plaza at the 2002 Winter Olympics. And there's me on the big screen singing my butt off.
Very cool.
But so back then, and what is this? We're at 2015, so that's 13 years ago, right? So 13 years ago, I would have loved to tell people, dudes, I'm on NBC freaking television right now on the Olympics and such. Great.
There you go.
All right. Do you realize that? Do we have any 13-year-olds in the house tonight? Do you remember 13 years
I've got
ago?
one at home.
I'm fairly adolescent. Does it need to be actual years?
What I'm getting at is back then when I would have loved to tell the world that I was on stage the first night opening for Creed, and the next night opening for Mark Anthony. I would have loved to tell the world, you know, it would be all selfie crap out of me and all this stuff. But back then, 13 years ago, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, Pinterest, it didn't exist. Flip phones were cool, right? That was the cool. I mean, honestly, when you think about it, the internet has only been popular for us since Windows 95. That's pretty much it. So basically, we're just getting started. This is just so new, and that's the beauty of it, is we're on the cusp of a bell curve, and a lot of you people will say, you know what, I just can't, I don't understand it, I can't, you know, I wasn't born into it, that's why I have my niece do it. You know what, were you born into driving a car? No, but you figured it out, right? And all the rules that come with it, except for me, I learned a little lesson today. So it's the same thing. I mean, look at me, I'm a freaking 48-year-old dude up here talking about social media, because I can apply it. I'm on the cusp of the demographic that is most involved in social media right now these days. So, cusp, remember the word cusp, not quite there.
Are you on the cusp? Are you like a leader on the cusp of Virgo? What's your deal?
I'm actually a Capricorn dude.
Aha.
That's a hard worker. That's a hard worker. So, anyway, what I'm just trying to empower you. I mean, if I can like completely reinvent myself from being a furniture salesman, family business, planning and zoning commissioner, to owning my own startup business about social media, you guys can figure it out too. That's what I'm getting at. And it's fun to learn. So showing off, you recognize I'm a bit of a goofy person too. So this is a parody of the George Bush book.
When did you do this?
A Life Underestimated. That's right. And this is where I come down to like just showing off. I'm actually, I went on a date. I can't believe this. Somebody actually was wanting to see me more than once, but she told me, it was one of the, I had to process the compliment. She said, "You are comfortable in your own skin. You're not quite settled in, but you're comfortable in your own skin." It's like, is that kind of a backhanded compliment? I guess I kind of appreciate that. But then when I kind of like thought about it, that was one of the compliments. Or, I mean, she's an accountant and an auditor, so that, and then me being a complete, creative musician type, it's just like, but the yin and the yang. But I was like, yeah, okay, I am comfortable in my own skin. But that's being comfortable in your own skin is the beauty of being a storyteller. And that's what social media is about, is a storyteller. I also promised, did anybody see my promo video for this thing? No? Well, we might have to show the video. I shot it in my kitchen. Anyway, I promised kittens. I promised kittens. So every time a kitten comes out, and this is my kitten, and it's a rare kitten that actually goes in the car to Moab with me. So anyway, this is when the engagement comes out. So I want to hear a story from somebody that you recently posted somewhere that is unique to you in your business, that sets you apart from everybody else. Anybody? Just give me an example. Anybody? Unique story, a unique post, a unique anything that you've shared that I have no idea what you guys do. I know what you do for a living. I kind of know what you do for a living. Cool. Theory back there, I have no idea what you do.
How about acrobatic yoga at 12,000 feet on top of two?
Damn, last week. I can't say that. And what does that do as far as relating into your business?
It's a ton of feedback. And since I'm a wellness coach and a guy,
Okay, so you're a wellness coach, and one of my niches is I'm in the fitness industry. I'm advisor for Pre-Core and Voice Fitness and a brand new one called Escape Fitness. So I'm working on it. But what I'm getting at is wellness coach, health coach. I mean, especially coach in general. Right now, you cannot swing a dead cat without hitting the coach, right? That's true. Right? So what you're telling me is you're making yourself, you have a story that's unique, that sets you above the noise, the crap that's out there. I was listening to, this image is just going to be up there, I ramble, is that okay? Absolutely. She's cute, her name's Ivory. I was listening, and I don't have the data to back it up because I just heard it early this morning, but one of my mentors, Gary Vaynerchuk, he said, from the beginning of man to, and I think when I saw the video that was produced around 2005, so it's about 10 years old. And I don't have the source to back it up, but we can but that sounded about right. So from the beginning of man to 2005, all the movies, all the music, all the content, all the books, articles, everything ever written or produced, from the beginning of when we were wearing pelts, around our crotches to 2005, all of that information and content these days gets reproduced every 48 hours. So with that, with all those channels, with all those options, how do you stand above the noise? It's with your storytelling, man. It's with your storytelling. Yes, sir.
This is our product, the virtual reality app that takes you back to driving. A lot of people have been in the driving movement. They don't have a lot of people, but we're allowing people to escape back in this drive-in and watch any movie on Netflix they want through the windshield or the Chevy Lumina in virtual reality with the goggles. So that's what we're doing on Facebook.
All right. Well, the only thing that I would, if you could change the windshield so I could go back in time and watch it through a 1983 Chevy Blazer, that would be cool.
Okay. We'll do it just for you.
No, but that's awesome.
Yeah.
So basically what I'm getting at is, again, I mean, right now, and when you look at your phones, and I have, as a marketer, when you're like, right through it, I have like a half a second at best to capture your attention, right? And then the other thing that, one of my clients in Texas, Marathon Fitness, I'm 2 likes away from them hitting 500, which I started from 0 3 months ago. So I'm kind of proud about that. But the crazy thing about that, you need to have engaged people. Because, I mean, when you like a page, how many times you go back? Never. Maybe once in a while, unless the content is engaging. And obviously any business page, they want to sell to you, obviously, but they also, what you need to do is provide useful, fun, quality content, like like this guy. What's your name?
Jason.
Jason. Yeah, so like Jason. So out of all the coaches that I have to hit weight through, I find Jason, and he's groovy. And that's the difference. And I'll go back to your page, I'll find your page as soon as I'm done talking, and see the cool content that you're putting out. Good storytelling. All right. Thank you. Okay, so how many people have seen me speak before?
I think once.
Once? I know. Well, thanks for coming back.
Encore.
Encore, exactly. All right, so I just wanted to know whether to go through this section fast or not. I was doing one of the biggest fitness shows in Los Angeles. And last day of the show, I was looking for a place to have breakfast. And so I happened to walk by the Hotel Figueroa, which is in downtown LA, right by the convention center. And I thought that was pretty cool. And then, so I found this greasy spoon that I found a breakfast that I didn't have to finance. And it's called the Original Pantry Cafe. And here's a shot of them. It reminded me of my fast food drive-in days of that smell and all that sort of stuff. So I said, great breakfast atmosphere at the, I tweeted this out. So this is a screenshot from my phone. And then I love it when businesses are like totally on top of it and tweeted back. Nothing, just one word, thanks. And I'm like, boom. And then somebody in the middle added me to the list, awesome folks, which I can't argue with. So what does that do right out of the gate? So I don't have like a crap load of Twitter followers. I think I'm around 1,400 right now. But that network of people, if you were ever in LA, you would know where to go and get good breakfast that is not that expensive. And then everybody in their network started following, not everybody, but quite a few people started following me because I put up some interesting stuff too. So continuing on, after I had my breakfast, so I walked by, so this is now my Instagram, this is another screenshot from my phone. I walked by the Hotel Figueroa after I'm done having breakfast. It was like, holy crap, that hallway looks pretty cool. So I take a picture of it, and and this is like right after quite a few of my friends, boom, look at that. The Hotel Figueroa instantly likes it. I'm just like, that just like turns me on when people are on top of it. And I don't care if they hire it out, but as long as they're listening. And then further on,
17 followers now.
thank you. So further than that, there's this group of kids, 20-year-old kids. So I'm about ready to take the train back to Long Beach Airport, and they're just hanging out. I'm not thinking anything of it, but I took this cool shot. And again, also, where is it? Oh, right there, Hotel Figueroa. Boom, and I say 90-degree pool hang in March works for me. Tag the Hotel Figueroa, and then of course the Love LA thing. So anyway, I had a couple of cocktails before I went and took the train back to Long Beach. And as I get up, it's just me, old me and a bunch of kids. And as I get up, the scrappiest looking kid right here with a big ass beard and stuff like that, he comes up, and as I'm walking out that hallway, he says, "Are you Jeff?" It's like, yeah. It's like, dude, we just saw your Instagram post to us. We were looking at the Hotel Figueroa's Instagram page. We saw your picture, and we saw us in your picture, dude. It's awesome. And then he's like, "You're a Utes fan." It's like, "Yeah, we saw your Instagram. You're a musician. You're a cat lady man. You're all this. You're cool." And it's like, and again, this is a 48-year-old dude by myself, looking sad as crap, having a cocktail at the pool, and having these kids chase me down as I get up. And then it turns out that they're all from Logan and Brigham City. They're like, "We're Utah State fans. We go to Utah State." So whereas that does not maybe produce me business right away, that is a prime example of digital actions resulting in real world actions, right? Look at it. They would have no reason to get up and chase me down other than that they saw that. So within just that maybe 30 minutes experience that I was there, I got coverage on the Hotel Figueroa's page, everybody in my network, those kids, and now I know, and my entire network knows, if I go to LA, maybe I'm not going to stay at the overpriced, fancy pants, swanky JW Marriott. I'm going to stay here because it's chill. You know what I mean? And now everybody else knows it. No, I know a cheaper, fun breakfast, and I know a cheaper place to stay if I ever have another gig at the LA Convention Center. And everybody else knows it too. Okay, so there's me.
The shirts are slightly different.
Huh? My shirt's slightly different. This is at the coffee place, right? So, quickly, I'm just going to show you a few pictures that are just completely off of my Twitter account. Anybody right now can get on and find, or you could go to my Facebook or whatever, and you can find that. So obviously you know that I do this. This is one of the things I do. Speaking, talking. You also know that I'm a musician and infernal guy. I can still get some help. Keyboardist.
Fun line.
You can also find out that I love tailgating at U games. Love it. And then I like hanging out with Fergals with Joel once in a while.
Tell them the backstory there too.
You'll have to do that. I forget who that dude is.
Okay, that is the, his name's Will McClellan. He is the Eisenhower Fellow for New Zealand. He and 3 of his buddies single-handedly rebuilt Christchurch after the earthquake they had in 2011. And he was out here to check out like the tech scene and everything else. So he was a fan of SLC punk. So Jeff took he and his wife, can't remember her name, it was a great girl, Diane, up to Ensign Peak, where the punks beat up the Cowboys. So there's the backstory. You've actually got an international dignitary there that wanted to check out Salt Lake City punk. So that's actually a really cool backstory that I don't think we ever.
No, we covered that.
Yeah. So good stuff.
And then finally, I'm a father of 2 extremely attractive kids who are awesome. And I just put my daughter Haley on a plane yesterday for modeling gigs in Chicago and New York. So basically, going back, just on my Twitter feed, you can find all that stuff, different layers of me on my social media feed. What kind of, when you're trying to approach me or sell me, what advantage would you have by knowing that stuff?
And that would be an open door to say hello and be interested in you.
Yeah, so based on those pictures, if you were to approach me on your app, what would be an opening line you would say to me?
I say, you're a wild and crazy guy on stage, I like it.
I need help for animation.
Okay, so that's it. You have an advantage of, if you're trying to sell me, of knowing about me in advance. You also have an advantage is if we do business together, let's say I got your app or I hired you as a coach or I hired you to help me with my marketing and branding and my website and such, then after I signed the contract, if you sent me a UTAP, that would just like, you know what I mean?
Over the top.
As simple as that, and that would cost what, $20? But it would like change me from what I'd call a currency customer to a legacy customer. Because I would be instantly in love with you just because you took that little bit more effort to learn about me that sets you a billion times ahead of anybody else that you're in competition with. So that's where you get that.
Can I say something about that?
Absolutely.
I sold cars for about 10 years and then I wanted to try something different, so I started doing t-shirts. Now you know. But I remember these guys coming in with stuffed animals to every dealership I ever looked at. And people would just lay down and buy them. So I go, okay, I'm going to sell t-shirts this way. So I just carried a bunch of mini babies. Which one do you want? Like this, and they go, that one and that one and that one. Hey, what do you sell? T-shirts? Can we buy some?
Yeah.
Beanie babies.
No, dude, I mean, like anything. Well, remember, Joel, when I spoke on the 18th floor of the Zions Bank building? So this is my 3rd time speaking for Salt Lake Survey. And I got my first time in, I got to play in the big arena. And ever since then, I've been back in the AAA down here. But remember, who's the guy from Zions Bank that I spoke with? Do you remember his name?
Which one?
Not Zions, he was from Key. Zions Bank.
U.S. Bank.
No, he's from Key, but it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Anyway, one of those things that I just want to instill in your head is I told the dude from, high up executive from KeyBank, and I wish I was better with names, but I said, you know what, I can go outside of my front door in West Side, Murray, Utah, and I can go to 20 places within 20 minutes of my front door and get a checking account, which is all similar. The same thing as when I did social media for the Ken Garf group, and I did for their flagship Chrysler Jeep Dodge dealership. I said, the customer comes in knowing about the car, more than the salesman would even hope to know about the car. They know exactly what it costs. They know what the trim level is. They know what that. So with that said, with checking account, insurance, cars, the products are pretty much the same. The only difference is what they see online. How do you humanize yourself? What makes you different? What makes them trust you before they've even seen you live? That makes you stand out. That, you know what? I've noticed you in my news feed that you're doing great things for the community. You're not trying to bitch slap sell me. You're trying to finesse me and give me, great information. And then you're giving me trust. So, the difference is what makes you different, because the customer already knows what they want. Exactly. It's just they don't know exactly who to get it from. And that makes you different. So again, one of these graphics stand out. These are one of my standout graphics above the rest. There's no problem being the weird person at Thanksgiving.
Is that the guy from Saturday Night Live?
Yeah, that's Stefan. There's no problem being the weird person in the room as long as you're likable. Again, you could Google, 1,000 people that are doing social media marketing as a living, like me. But I hope that the stories that I'm telling you might set me up, slightly higher, because I'm kind of strange, which is okay. Yes.
There's a great comedy writer, and he said, I found in movies over 20 years, you didn't have to be likable as a character, just make me human, at least. You made them human. Like, there's some human thing going on inside that person, not just a robot. People relate to you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be super popular. Just have something about you that's human.
Absolutely.
Like you're an airhead.
You're right. You're speaking to the choir with me on that topic for sure. So I'm a product of the 80s. I graduated in 1985. So what's really important in social media right now, or online marketing? What, other than I love rock and roll, what did Joan Jett say? Come on.
Put another dime in the jukebox, baby.
I don't give a damn about my bad reputation.
There you go.
Move the first down. Exactly. So I look at this as the Joan Jett theory. Because, you know what? You do give a damn about your bad reputation, because that's where 90% of the sales you're going to get is on people reviewing you. But don't worry about it if your reputation gets tarnished once in a while, because there's going to be haters out there, and that's just what they do. A dude that I hung out with, before I took on one client whatsoever, I took almost a year to immerse myself and go to conferences with some of the best minds in the world, seeing them live and talking to them. And one of my best, most favorite guys is Scott Stratton. He has a book called Unmarketing. Stop Marketing, Start Engaging. Fantastic book. He's got a follow-up one called QR Codes Kills Kittens.
That's a great book.
It's a great book.
It's a phenomenal book.
And I've kept that away from my kitten. Anyway, what he said is, don't give the bandwidth to the haters. You don't have to be the jackass whisperer, right? You know what? All you need to do is, if you get a bad reputation or somebody, that is the best opportunity for you to engage and have the entire audience of people who are cheering for you see how you handle it. As long as you handle it, address it. Sorry, whatever happened to you, we'll try to do better. We're only human. Everybody knows that you're human. People make mistakes, and they also know that there's just, dicks out there too, right? So, anyway, bad reputation. I don't care. I don't give a damn about bad reputation. No, you don't do that. You do, but then you don't in a way just by addressing it and moving on, because that will just build trust, brand trust, because people say, all right, he's on top. So social media is a way to tell your story. It's a way you can give your audience a peek behind the employees' only door. And me as a musician, gives you the all access backstage VIP pass. It gives a chance to make yourself stand above the rest. And I know I'm like sounding like a broken record, but that is just the bottom line about the title of this presentation today, as far as community building, is it is showing people who you are, giving them a glimpse beyond what they see that's pounded in their head at the, excuse me, at the 10 o'clock news. It's different, a different experience. You're creating digital campfires where people are talking about you. You're creating digital water cooler talk. And aren't those beautiful people talking about your water cooler? And then your digital backyard barbecues. And then, of course, digital cocktail parties. How many times do you go to a cocktail party and you expect to make money? Never. What do you go there for?
Socialize.
Connect, meet new people, hear interesting stories, get to know, and then plant seeds that maybe down the road you could do business with them, or you're like, oh yeah, I now have a use for this thing, and now remember that guy was, or that girl was pretty chill, and I would like to, throw the business that way. That's what you're creating on social media. So going back to Gary Vee, and I've tried to make it so you didn't have to read much whatsoever in this presentation. Social media requires that business leaders start thinking like small town shop owners. This means taking the long view and avoiding short-term benchmarks to gauge progress. It means allowing the personality, heart, and soul of the people who run all levels of your business show. That's the backstage pass. Okay, so going back to when I did social media for the golf group, it was one of the best challenges I've ever done in the marketing world, is to put away the car salesman crap and just try to humanize the dealership. Because just like I told you, they had the big ad, and they had all the radio ads, all the screaming at you radio ads, and the screaming at you TV ads. How can I help sell cars without saying, $299 a month, nothing down, stuff like that? Try to humanize the brand. So I started just by taking the cars and just putting them in places that are unique to our personal community. You can shoot a car on a car lot, or take pictures of the car from the factory's website, easy. But how do you relate it to the community without saying a word about buying a car? So first of all, I show that their marketing dude is hanging out with so I'm a D-level rock star, and he was a D-level mascot, so that worked out for us. And then I took the Dodge Durango up by the ski resorts, because that's unique to our community. It will show the message that's like about right now, maybe it's a few weeks from now, that ski season's coming and you can buy a Dodge Durango and it'll get you up there. No, not one word about buy the Durango, just there it is. Then at the time I went to Grantsville, and this is the only time in my life, and I'll never be able to say it again, that this was my first rodeo. It only happens once. That was it right there. That's the first time I think I've worn a cowboy hat too. But anyways, when in Rome, or in Ransville in this case. Then you can tell the customer, why did the chicken cross the Chrysler 300? And you get engagement up the butt for a stupid question like that with a question. But it's the car comment right there. Or then also coming up on Halloween, you can warn customers about the impending well-dressed zombie apocalypse. But again, just goofy stuff that just sets you apart from the rest of the dealerships or the rest of the other brands. And that type of idea can transcend into any of your businesses, right? So everybody's like, oh yeah, well, you did that for a living, but I can't do it. But when you can't curate, because that is just as valuable. Does anybody know what I'm saying when I say that?
Yeah, essentially, if you run a museum, you're curating art. You're choosing choice works.
Yeah, you're not painting every damn picture in the place, right?
You're bringing it in and it's featuring.
Yeah, which I find is just as useful as your own quality, own content, is sharing from other people that you think is valuable. And that gives your audience another idea of who you are and what you think is valuable. Plus also in the engagement side and noticing you side, then those people that you're sharing, it shows up on their networks as well.
Don't you think that the best efficient brand creators, either personal or company, do a combination of both?
Oh, hell yeah.
Where they have some unique content, but then they're also sharing content. They may get some stuff that they do on their own that gets more hits, but when it comes down to it, they've got a balance.
I would say a balance even more in the curation department than the actual creation department. I mean, there's fantastic. I mean, again, like I said earlier, I said, all the content of mankind gets reproduced in 48 hours these days. So there's just all sorts of stuff out there. And it's way easy to let your audience know the things and the people that you find important and share to them. I would prefer to see something valuable and curated rather than you create some crap just because you feel you have to, right? So, all right, so here's the other part. It's my kitten in my hat. So that means questions, engagement. Any questions at this point? Yes?
I have a product, and I think all of us here have a product or starting a product.
Mhm.
I have all the elements of it. I've got the designer, I've got a copywriter, I've got all the stuff. I'm a photographer. Going about trying to run a social media campaign, because I think it's really important to do. How do you go about starting that? Do you hire a company that monitors it? Do you take these people that are already doing this part of it and have them, do you come up with a matrix and say every day, starting this, we're going to post 2 pictures on Facebook, do 4 Twitter? What do you do? How do you start that?
First of all, you call me. No. There's multiple ways of doing it. First of all and foremost, you just can't chuck stuff, spitballs at the ceiling and see what sticks. You have to have a plan. And the clients that I have a pretty much regimented, at the very least, a weekly content calendar, and more so a monthly content calendar. And then I use tools, like Hootsuite or Buffer, that you can actually spend a couple hours on Monday and you can schedule your entire week out. So you've heard of Throwback Thursday or Flashback Friday. I do social media now for Pure Pump Place, and we do Wedding Wednesday, to show the weddings in the past that have happened, Flashback Friday and stuff like that. And the fitness ones that I do, there's Workout of the Week on Wednesday Workout of the Week, Triple W's, Fitness Friday, Motivation Monday. You know what? Because you have to think about that, and then you have to also do the research that people don't say on a content calendar, people don't like to be sold to on Monday. So if you're gonna put content out there, put something out that's just like, you know what? I'm in Monday with you. Let's do this thing. You know, let's have a good week type of thing. Tuesday, introduce your product or how somebody's using your product in a unique way or customer testimonials. And then Wednesday, again, maybe a profile of somebody in your company or you personally, so they just get to know you. Thursday, hit them again with maybe a little product. Friday, what are you gonna do for your weekend? You know, Saturday, I found some goofy picture for one of my clients of people in some silly boat. And I said, have a good time this weekend doing whatever floats your boat. You know, just stuff. Yes.
Are there issues with copywriting things if you find things on the internet and you want to post them on your social? I mean, is that a problem?
It is. There are sites you can Google that have what I call they're royalty-free sites.
But how about if it's on Pinterest? So let's say I'm on Pinterest, mine's a vodka, so I see Absolute's got some girl that's there drinking a cocktail.
All right,
I
well-
can pull that up, put that on. Can I use that, or is that a copyright?
I would
issue?
say 90% of the time companies are just going to be happy with your shit.
As long as you prevented it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So if you show that this came from them, share away.
How I do it, like especially, I will say via and then tag the company. So for example, if I'm doing pictures of treadmills for one of my clients, I'll do via Precor, which is tagged, and they see that it's tagged, and I'm using their content, their pictures, but then it also helps you out what's going on through their network. So with your cocktail, you know, chilling with, you know, my Absolute tagged, so it goes to their, you can click on it, goes to their website, you know, vodka martini recipe tag. Does that make sense? And that not only gets you out of the woods as far as sharing their content, but also gets you in their networks as well. Any more technical questions? Yes.
Are there big things that people like in India that keep track of all this stuff for you? I mean, to me, it makes sense. It's like those call centers. So it would be like your hotel you're at, and they get a big bank of people, and all they do is they watch whenever your name comes in, Brenda's name, they go through and they say, thank you, oh, we so appreciate it. Has it come to that yet?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it can be at that level. I mean, there are social media companies that have hundreds of employees that some of but there's also fantastic listening tools out there. I mean, if you just Google social media listening tools, I mean, there are listening tools for specific platforms or ones that cover all of them. That you can just put your client's name or even keywords of your type of product. So, you know, if I have a real estate agent, and so I have keywords of, you know, buy house or need house or rent or property or any of those keywords that come up, and you can just start the conversation. I mean, that's one of, I mean, my philosophy with my clients is I kind of have a cap on how many that I would take on, because I know I only have enough bandwidth to do that listening for my clients at a certain level, or things will start slipping through the cracks. And if somebody's like talking to you and trying to engage, not only is that important to engage back with an extremely timely manner, but then the social networks themselves and their analytics reward you when your stuff gets served up in people's news feeds because they can see that there's interest and engagement going on. So I think that's pretty much the best non-answer I can give you right now, is that yes and no and maybe so. Yeah.
I would give you the perspective that even though there are social media houses, much like a call center, there's nothing that can duplicate the true boutique approach of someone that has an understanding of your brand, the ability to empathetically deal with a compliment or a complaint in an expedient manner, and the listening devices take care of that. So an approach that Jeff does to this versus just basically a puppy mill of people that are just putting out curated posts, you've got to have a balance somewhere between that.
What I'd like to say, in just a second, is the difference is when you're looking for somebody to help you out, or also a philosophy you should have in your own marketing. Everybody thinks about bandwidth and trying to attract as much as possible. I would think about brand depth. of the level of quality that you have. Because I would have in a million years, all the time, every day, I would rather have 500 engaged fans than 50,000 fans that don't see any shit show up ever. You know what I mean? We're almost done.
I haven't.
Danny,
My thought was, earlier you talked about, who are you? That's what we're trying to convey. We're going past what I have, what I do, all of that. To who are you? And can you get to who are you with a, one of these more automated posting machines?
You can probably convey your message, but you can't convey the genuine essence of who you are.
well, no, I could go both ways, because if you can plan out using some of these tools, you just need to be on top of those tools so that, say, if something in current events happens that is galvanizing the country, that you can adapt to that. If something bad happens or something good happens, you can adjust. Even though you're using these tools that are helpful as far as time, as long as you're still listening and monitoring every day.
I was just going to comment on a really great digital critic that I love, that I'm sitting there trying to tell you his name, but I can't pull it right now. But it's one of my favorite books in the last decade, honestly. And one of his exciting ideas and critics about social media is, because the volume is so massive right now, this 48 hours duplicating the world's content, so to speak, that you can stand out by putting a lot more attention and time into what you produce as a content producer. And so there is something to say for the fast, quick, and dirty approach. I used to be in video for a long time because people paid a lot of money for me to make video, but now it's all fast, quick, and dirty practically. And when it comes to producing something exceptional, sometimes going the extra mile, spending a week maybe producing something that's really thoughtful and really, a real stage photo shoot, for example.
Well, no, but I mean, and that applies across the board. Just the simple things you can do, say on your Twitter posts. If you take the extra, 30 seconds to attach an image to your post, that'll increase engagement by 150% at least. So, yeah, I mean, I would advise you to take the time to produce quality content or search out great curated content anytime over just, banging something out just to bang it out, right? Okay, so speaking of banging it out, okay, going back here. Your social media campaign, this is the current events for sports. Your social media campaign can't be a series of Hail Mary passes to win the game, right? Because that's only going to work 2 times, and then you're going to get killed by UCLA on the side. What you want to do is have a team that grinds it out, barely wins, but wins all the time, right?
So you're a threat, but not too big of a threat.
Yeah, but you win in the end.
But you win anyway.
You're a legacy, man. All right, so my mentor, Scott Stratton, if you believe business is built on relationships, make building them your business. And there's a shot of me with Scott when he signed the book, The Kittens Kill, QR Codes Kill Kittens. So, anyway, the bottom line, I'm wrapping up right now, is if there was one word to tell you about your social media campaigns, is give. Give, 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 and then take. Then give, 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 give. Build trust, build great content, build your community. Give them things that are useful, that have absolutely no, nothing to do even with your business. Just become digital friends, digital resource. Make them sign up, like your page, and then give them a reason to go back and back again, even if they're not even going to be your customer for a year from now. Or maybe they just tell somebody else about you and they become your customer. So that's my bottom line, is build your communities through giving quality. Make yourself stand up above the freaking noise. Because that's what there's a lot of noise out there. Make them go, oh.
Awesome.
Thank you. Keep the conversation going. I'm super easy to find. I'm happy to talk to you guys anytime, all the time. So
Can I have the DVD?
Oh, yeah. And if you want a copy of my third album,
Third album.
you can come and snag it.
I'm gonna stand here.
So regardless of where you are in business or with your personal branding or anything else, is there anybody here that didn't gain something from that or come up with something that you can institute right now into your own social strategy? It's not always just Facebook. It's not just LinkedIn. I mean, God forbid Snapchat or something like that, since we're all older than dirt. But you've got something here that's usable. It's a good strategy for the future. Thank you very much. I'm glad that you had your epiphany at 4 o'clock in the morning, even though I'm not happy about the ticket that you got.
I'll talk my way out of it.
Yeah. We've got next week, kind of out of the same vein, but it's more of a follow-up, another Encore lunch with a gentleman by the name of Levi McPherson. Look up his stuff. He specializes in using LinkedIn to actually come up with very much like he was talking about, real substantive relationships you can make business. And I'm going to steal that analogy to go to a cocktail party with the thought of making money. Because you certainly can. You can be in a position where you make an impression of yourself. You're not going to close the deal right there, but at the same
You're
time,
planting
you go forward.
seeds, man.
Yeah.
Planting seeds.
Exactly.
And then one thing I forgot to mention, and I know he's not paying attention to us back there, but I would like to thank Holodeck for having us today. What a fantastic space this is, and I would suggest you use it as often as you can, because we certainly do that.
Oh, absolutely. And if none of you have ever had a tour of Holodeck, Andy would be more than glad to be able to walk you around. This is definitely the premier co-working space, incubator, accelerator, all of those good buzzwords in Salt Lake City, and they do a great job here. And if you want to come back tonight at 5:30, this is their 1-year anniversary, so they're having a little bit of an open house. So if you're in the downtown area and want to come by and do a little bit of socializing, we'd love to be able to support Holodeck and everything that they do. So,
All right.
thanks for coming.
Yeah, regardless, have a kick-ass rest of your week and do some awesome stuff.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
That was fun. Thank you. That was well done. I love the visuals. So,
It's a week from today, same time. Same day. Yeah, good stuff. Good to see you, Eddie. Thanks for coming down.
yeah.
Good quality stuff.
Yeah, I actually Scott, is it the soccer Scott? Scott?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, man.
Yeah, I will. I probably would.